Today we're going to talk about a macro UTL submit R64, which allows you to call R from your SAS script. You can even execute R inside a data step using do sub L at execution time using this macro. I'm going to demonstrate the interface, and I'm going to start out by showing you how to pass a macro variable from SAS to R. This macro variable will contain M for males, and we're going to use it to subset the SAS help.class data set. One of the first things we do is read SAS help.class table into R using the Haven package in readstat. We're going to compute the mean weight for male students by age using SQL within R. We're going to also compute the total number of students in the class. We're going to create a macro variable from R to pass back to SAS, which will contain the number of students in the class. We're also going to create a transport, V5 transport file with the mean male weights by age. We're going to put the long R variable names into the label of the transport file, and then we're going to use SAS to rename the variables from the short hash names to the same variable names, long variable names that were used in R. Now this presentation is on GitHub, and it's also on YouTube. Now let's look at our input. It's simply the SAS help.class data set. And one of the things you want to be careful of, I think, when using R, because R is mixed case, is that you set valid var names equal to uppercase, so that within R you have to use the uppercase variable names. It's just easier to keep track of your SAS names. So here's the SAS help.class. 19 observations, students, and we got height, weight, age. Now we're going to produce this output. We're going to create a SAS table called work.males that contains long variable names, the same variable names used in R: male gender, average age, and age count. And we're also going to create a macro variable with the number of students, 19 in this case. Now just to show you what's happening is in the SAS data set will eventually have the label male gender, average age, and age count when we import it from the transport file. And then we've got a little bit of SAS code that's just going to rename the hash short names using these long names. And here's the process that we're going to use. This is the actual R script. Now, because I'm doing development, I like to clean everything up in between runs. So I delete any macro variables I'm going to be computing, or in the V5 transport file, and any temporary SAS data sets that I'll be creating. So first thing we do is set the macro variable sex equal to M, and then we'll use that within the R script to subset. So we read in, using the Haven package, we read in the class data set from the D drive, and then we do just a little bit of SQL, and this SQL is the same SQL you all know from SAS. I want to mention this TS lit here. It's kind of important if you're doing a lot of quoting inside R that you use TS lit, because TS lit will do a number of things. It will put single quotes around your entire program. It will double quote where there's single quotes, and it will evaluate the macro variables. It'll resolve the macro variables. So it does a number of nice things. And you kind of need it when you're getting into some of this quoting in R. So the next thing I do after I create that data frame that has mean age by mean weight by mean age by for males, mean age for males. This this code here populates the labels in the R data frame, and the SAS export package will take these labels and put them in the correct slots in the V5 transport file. And we also want to create number of students, because we're going to pass this as a macro variable. And the way that happens is you write the student number to the Windows clipboard, and SAS is going to read the clipboard and create the macro variable called number of students. And the write export just creates the export file. And you give it a name for the return variable, in this case number of students. So let's run this. I'll run the whole thing. So this is from R. This is the listing from R, and we're getting into SAS, and I don't know what's going on. It won't show me this happens with SAS sometimes when you can't. Let's see, can we do it this way? Let's go down here. Yeah, there we go. So this is before we use the labels to change the names. And then after we change it, we'll have this males data set will have the longer names, which is what we wanted. So that's about it. Hope this recorded.